Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, or you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Also, thumbs ups are very much appreciated, the thumbs ups, along with your comments. Most importantly, for me, are the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking, especially right now after the 23 games that these Knicks have played this season, and they are now below 500. That is correct. The Knicks lost to the Denver Nuggets in a matinee game at Madison Square Garden, 113-99. And that score isn't really indicative of what kind of a game it really was for the last quarter and a quarter. It actually was kind of tight with 8:02 left in the third quarter. The Knicks had somehow managed to cut the lead to cut the deficit to 6. That's right, the score was 69-63 by the 8:02 mark when Burks hit a three-pointer. From that point on, for the next 2 minutes, 3 straight possessions, Denver got a two-pointer, and the lead was then pushed up to 75-63, so they built a 12-point lead. And how did they do that? First was a turnover by Randall, then it was a turnover by Fournier, and then it was a missed wide open three-point attempt by Randall. Now I have highlights. I'm only going to show you 3 highlights, 3 clips, and we'll get to it in a little bit. But first we're going to keep going on this, discussing what happened here. Here's the box score. When you look at it, look, Randall looks like he had a nice game. You know, he shot 50% from the field, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Come on, isn't that nice, George? Shouldn't we be happy? Now, look at that 2 of 7. Look at that 2 of 7 from the three-point line. I'm going to get into what's happening here and why the Knicks are actually not winning enough games right now. And it comes down to Julius Randle's three-point shooting. Not just him alone, of course, but when I compare him to last season, you will see, especially since the ball mostly goes through Randle, if he's not hitting his three-point shots on a consistent basis, it changes the way the defense is forced to play him and the way they play the other players on the court. So we'll get into that. But look at RJ, his first game back after his illness, only shot 5 of 13, missed 6 three-point shots, 1 of 7. And several of them were good looks. A couple of them were rushed because the shot clock was winding down and he had to heave it. But, you know, I would say 2 of those were like that. So he hit 1 of 2. So the other 4 were pretty decent looks. Would have been nice if he had connected on 2 of the other 4. Then we'd be looking at 3 of 7. Be a totally different thing. But here's another thing. Look at the assists. Only 1 assist for RJ. RJ. Last season, RJ, through the first 20-something games or so, he was averaging almost 3.5 assists per game. Now he's down to about 2.2. So that's pretty bad. Rose shot 50% as well, but look at the three-pointers. 1 of 5. Only 11 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. We'll get into the all stats, the deeper stats as well. Emmanuel Quickley, 1 of 7, 0 for 3 from the three-point line. He only gave us 3 points. And here's something that's been happening. I feel like guys, when they miss one, they get hesitant with the next one. And IQ passed up on a couple of open looks that turned into just bad offensive possessions, because here and Thibs pointed this out in the post game. When you pass up good looks, that means that you have to work the offense to get another good look. Why are you passing up on the good look that you have? If you don't have confidence in the shot, that's a whole other story. But you really shouldn't. You really need to shoot it no matter what, because if you're out there on the court, it's not a matter of confidence anymore. You're out there. The offense has done its job to try to get you a good open look. Take it. If you miss it, we'll talk about that. But if you don't take it, that's a big problem. That's a bigger problem than taking it and missing it. So, because the whole offense is structured to try and get open looks for guys. And if they succeed in that and you pass up on one, then you're totally undermining the entire offensive scheme. And I saw that throughout. I saw it throughout. Also, the guys are not trusting each other. But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into all of this much more. Just bear with me here. The Knicks only hit 12 of 40 3-pointers, 30%. That's bad. I like the number 40. Don't like the number 12. Oh, man. That's rough. But look at the 39.8% overall field goal percentage. That's pretty tragic. That is very tragic. Now, let's look here. Let's look at the... here's something I want to talk about. Here, see the turnovers? Randle only has 1 turnover on this box score. But I'm going to show you a highlight right now. Here we go. Here's a possession. It goes into Randle's hands. Look at the clock. It was at 14 seconds, 13 seconds now. But boom, dribble, dribble, dribble. He passes up on getting the ball to RJ right now. Forces it, loses control of the ball. It's bouncing around. The shot clock's winding down. Fournier had to shoot that because the shot clock actually in the air. The ball was in the air and the shot clock buzzer went off. This doesn't count as a turnover. But it might as well be because you have lost control of the ball in the paint time and time again. We see this constantly. In fact, the one turnover that that Randle is actually listed for in the box score was the exact kind of play. He dribbled into traffic. He dribbled into congestion and lost the ball, and it ended up in a actually easy open look at the other end. In this case, it just ended up in a terrible look for the Knicks. And guess what? That counts negatively towards Evan Fournier's shooting. Exactly. But look at RJ up there. I mean, I shot this off my TV, so you can't see it. But in the top right, also, here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Campazzo's on the court. Who is Campazzo? When you have the ball in your hand, you have to ask yourself, who is Campazzo guarding? RJ, go to him. And then Campazzo commits to try and help out to steal the ball. If Julius had kept his eyes open and looking for RJ, instead Julius was not looking to make a pass there at all. He was looking to try and make a play at the basket, even though he was double and triple teamed. Look, double team right there. Come on. This is why we're losing. This exact play is indicative of why the Knicks are below 500 right now when they should be about 5 games over 500 at least. At least. Instead, they're 1 game under. All right, let's get back to this. So, Fournier, 15 points. Fournier actually, had a pretty decent game in reality. He actually is the one who was able to finally wake the offense up in that the beginning of the second half, in that third quarter. They couldn't score anything, the Knicks, and then finally Fournier started driving and he hit a few shots. He hit a 3-pointer. He was a key part of cutting that deficit down to 6 points. He was, but here, let's look at here. But Fournier, it was 3 of 8 from the 3-point line. Well, that 8th attempt, you just saw it. What a desperado shot it was. It would have been nice. It would have been nice if Julius had found Fournier out on the 3-point line earlier, when it was a clean look. No. Or got it into RJ. A lot of issues here, man. A lot of issues here, guys. RJ was a minus 17. That is catastrophic. But look at Nerlens, a minus 24. And I got to say, I don't know what's going on with Nerlens, but he's just not the same player this season. Hasn't been, I don't think he's actually, he might have had 1 game where he looked good. He's barely played. Look at it, minus 24. And that is a real minus 24. Many times he was in the wrong place. He's helping out too much. He's over-rotating and leaving guys open out on the 3-point line, like wide open. There was a play where I can't remember who was the Denver Nugget on the 3-point line. Might even have been Najee, or whatever, how you ever say his name. Campazzo was driving into the paint. Rose was on him. Rose did let Campazzo turn the corner, but Rose is, remember, Rose is good at blocking shots, and Rose has a lot more height over Campazzo. I think about 4 inches on him. So the play was let it go. Let Rose deal with it. Maybe Rose can block the shot. Maybe Rose can alter Campazzo's shot. Instead, Nerlens decides to go help, leaving Najee all wide open. And then what does Campazzo do? Because Campazzo is a guy who shares the ball to the right guy. He finds the guy open in the 3-point. The guy that Nerlens left, he finds him for a wide open 3. And that happened repeatedly throughout the night. Throughout the night, that happened repeatedly. And the 3-point shot is killing these Knicks on the offensive end and on the defensive end. And I'm going to show you some stats. We're going to talk about that. And that is actually the reason why these Knicks are losing. Because it comes down to defensive intensity and defending that 3-point line. I had higher hopes for this team, much higher hopes. My confidence in this team is, I'm going to use the right word. My confidence in this team is being challenged. Let's put it that way. Would I be surprised if, tonight these guys got together for a players only dinner and they hashed it out, which is what they should be doing right now. They should be doing that. If they're doing something like that, or whenever it is, or when they get to San Antonio, they have this meeting, but they need to get together and get on the same page. Now, you heard Julius has said things like this. RJ has said things like this. So has Fournier. But now they got to do it. If they do something like that and they start getting back to basics, as RJ said, and pull out a win with San Antonio, they actually have a couple of easier games ahead. They play the Pacers afterwards, and then they go to Toronto. That's not going to be an easy game with Toronto, or none of them are easy, but easier. Let's put it that way. I mean, we just played the Suns, with the Lakers, the Suns, the Hawks, the Nets, and the Nuggets, and I'm skipping over someone else. Who is the other ones? The Bulls. Sorry, and the Bulls. Those are tough. The Spurs, Pacers, Raptors are not as tough. So the Knicks should be able to win at least 2 out of 3 of those, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win all 3, honestly, because this team has the talent to do it. They're just not using each other correctly. And there's something even more important that they're not doing. See what it says down there? It's gut check time. That's right. In the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the definition of gut check is a test or assessment of courage, character, or determination. Now is the time. And it originated from tennis, when a player takes a moment to pause and reflect on what has happened on the court. And I like to bring up tennis a lot because tennis is an individual sport. And it's all on that player. And they have to decide, do I have the character, the will, the determination, the courage to do what's necessary to win the next point, and the point after that, and the point after that. You guys have to take this down to basics. You need to look at yourselves and at each other and decide if you want to be a real team. That's the only way you're going to win. You guys don't have, all NBA first teamers on your squad. You're not having, there's no one on this team right now that's having a career year like last year. So how are you going to win? By creating an intensity on a defensive end that's going to lead to easier buckets for you guys on the fast break. Now, ironically, in this game, we'll go back to this here. Ironically, in this game, the turnovers, you only had 11 turnovers. But look how many points you gave up off those 11 turnovers. 17 points. That's tragic, man. That's just guys not getting back. And speaking of that, let me see if I can find this clip here. Oh, no. This is... this is the... look at this. Look at this. This is the wide open three. This is a good... It's not a great possession at all. But Burks makes the right decision here. Nice. Wide open. Misses it. Julius Randle, last season, Julius Randle connected on 41.1% of his three-point shots. This season, he's averaging 32.2%. I'm gonna tell you guys, we ain't winning shit. We ain't winning shit unless Julius gets that up to about 38%. Now, we all worried, his last year, was it an outlier year? Well, absolutely. It could have been. And it's looking like it right now in terms of Julius's three-point shooting. However, I mean, he did it for a long stretch. I mean, 72 games to average 41% from the three-point line. That's not a fluke. That's not a joke. Now, yes, there weren't crowds and all this stuff, but by the end of the season, there were. But even still, even with all that being said, he should still average at least, I would say, 38.5% from the three-point line. Without that, the way this offense is structured, we are just not going to win, because we're not going to win this without the three-point shot. And we're not going to win it without our best player connecting often enough from behind the three-point line. That's just facts. So you can call out RJ all you want, Thibs, about his three-point shooting, and I'm not even sure you actually were. I agree with Ian. He put out an article today, Ian Begley of SNY, and he said, he's been listening to Thibodeau answer questions for a while now, and he thinks Thibs may have actually overreached and made a mistake, didn't intend to actually call RJ out specifically, because it made it seem like RJ wasn't putting in the work at night with the three-point shots. He was talking about him being sick and all that stuff, but he also was trying to clearly say that he has absolute confidence that RJ's three-point shooting will return, as do I, which is why I'm not focusing on that. RJ's three-point shot will return. His shot is real. He needs to put in the work. We were wondering why he was front rimming shots. Maybe he has been, sore ankle and things and like tight back. I don't know. There's rumors out there of different things. But either way, we know that if he puts in the work, the shot will return. So that's something that's actionable and the probability that it will return is high. So I'm not worried about that. But Randle's shot, what's going on with that three-point shot? We need it. Sometimes he's not even he had a game recently where he only took two three-point attempts. We can't have that either. Now, I get it. You guys are thinking, well, if it's not falling, don't take it. That's not the answer, though. I mean, it's like, you have to. Just like in the NFL, you have to have a quarterback who can pass the ball. You have to. You can't win with a running game in the NFL anymore. That's just from the old days with Larry Zonka and all that stuff. Can't win that way. You have to win with the aerial attack. And the three-point shot is the equivalent of the aerial attack in the NBA. So Julius, get in the gym with RJ, do it, or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm sure you were a hard worker, so I don't believe that you're not working hard, but something's off. You got to fix it, brother, because that was a wide open look, and you created that poor possession to begin with. Okay? Right here, you give it over to Fournier. Where are you going? You're looking for, why do you want this ball back there? What are you going to do with it? That's ridiculous. What are you going to do with that ball? Look what happened. That was a shitty play. Look at Burks. Luckily, Burks gets it back to you when you're wide open, and then what? Nothing. Ah, man. Oh, guys. So here's another thing. People are wondering if, I see the tweets and the little smug looks and stuff. Oh, Knicks are 0-3 since Kemba got benched. Really? Come on. Really? You got to be kidding me. The thought that Kemba, the way he was playing, would have made a difference in these 3 games? Come on. That's a ridiculous concept. Ridiculous. Stop with that. All right, now we're going to talk about the 3-point shooting defense. Last season, Tommy Beer tweeted something out, which was an excellent tweet, like always he does. Tommy Beer tweeted out, per NBA tracking data in the Nuggets-Knicks game yesterday, Denver attempted 18 wide open 3-pointers, meaning no New York defender was within 6 feet of the Nuggets shooter when he attempted his 3-point shot. 18 wide open. Wow. 18 wide open. And I think this is an example of, okay, for one thing, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Oh, no, this is not. This is a whole other play. This play just drives me nuts. Why aren't they talking to each other? Why aren't they talking to each other here? Also, let RJ have this ball, Julius. You're going towards the opponent's basket. RJ's going towards our basket. Why are you... Let him have it. I don't understand this. And the same for RJ. I mean, or just decide, you know what? All 50-50 balls, we just let Julius take them. Then that's what you decide. Then RJ should just let Julius have it. But in that situation, RJ should have it. Try to get up the court. Try to get an easy look. No. Instead, they both make a play at the ball, and it goes out of bounds. Turnover. And I don't think that even counted as a turnover against Randall. Remember that. So when you guys look at those box scores and you see the 7 turnovers for Randall, there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 more that were just terrible plays that resulted in turnovers. So just think about that. Not sure if this is the one here. No. Yeah. Last season, the New York Knicks were number 1 in opponents' 3-point shooting percentage. They only allowed 33.7%. First place. This year, they are 20th, allowing 35.2% of 3-point shots made. 20th. But it gets a little darker. The last 7 games, they're 22nd in the league. So they dropped 2 slots from 20th to 22nd, and they're allowing 36.1% 3-point shooting. But in the last 3 games during this losing streak, the Knicks are now 24th in the NBA in opponents' 3-point shooting, allowing 39%. Allowing opponents to connect on 39% of the 3-point shots. So, there you have it. You can't deviate from your scheme. You can't, because the scheme is what holds it together. And this team is based on penetrating, get to the hoop. If you don't have a look, if a defender rotates over to you, it means someone else is open. Find the open guy. And if the guy who catches the ball, if he doesn't have a nice look, keep moving the ball. You saw it yesterday. You saw Denver kept moving that ball around until they found a guy who had the better look. It's not rocket science, but it means having courage, having the character and the determination to continue playing the right way on both ends of the court. Now that is on you, Thibs. You are the coach. You have to get these players to do it. If not, you get different players on the coach on the court. Get McBride back. Get Grimes in the game. Do something. Don't just wait and hope. You've got to do something. We're 23 games into this season. We're not even in the play-in picture at the moment. We have dropped that low. I want to see a different team in San Antonio. I still believe in this team. What happened last season was real. And this team is different, but not that different from last season. In fact, this team is deeper. The talent level is better. So they just need to trust each other. Trust, and you will win. All right. Thank you guys for watching this. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and hit the thumbs ups. And I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.